I needed all these games in the previous part in order to make you feel comfortable and accustomed with the Gestalt, and I hope you do so now. Here I wanna pull out one more string to tie a Gestalt up with a label structural particle. I know how it's hard to work with abstract things and terms, and this part is all about abstract. So let me try to make it easy for us, okay? Unfortunately, I can't promise that it will help. And if not, please do write your comments where and when you got confused. And I'll try to invent a different way to share something that I really want to share. Okay, look at this mineral. It's Iceland spore. A really great shape you can see, but not its structure. Actually, it's an example of a trigonal crystal system. It means that its elements, atoms and ions, unite with each other according to a particular skeleton of a unit cell. In other words, according to an organization of a coordinate system with a particular amount of axes of different length that are intersecting at particular degree. Yeah. And again, this guy is not a representative of a cubic crystal system or cubic system that we are all actually used to draw since school during the geometry lessons. I have enough stones to show you all the 7 crystal systems. Look, they're all shining. Here you can see all the skeletons, how to organize them. The minerals have different colors and shapes, while being the same family members. Still, the thing that they all have in common is having a structure of its unit cell that forms the whole mineral by repeating itself. A structure of the unit cell can be described as combinations of elements, atoms and ions, and a crystal system as a particular set of rules to fill the space with the structure in accordance with the element's characteristics and their bonds. A combination of these ingredients plus the external world influence gave us a particular example of a particular mineral. Another gestalt with lots of gestalt, you would say. Yes, but actually, here I wanna focus our attention on something different. It doesn't matter which crystal system it is. It doesn't matter how the elements are arranged. And it doesn't matter how many gestalts we're going to find here. The thing that actually matters to me now is the unit cell structure. A unit cell structure is an order of how to arrange elements and get a crystal. And any order actually has the same structure, a structure of structures. So it consists of elements, a unit cell, and a coordinate system. In other words, a background, a figure against the background, the state of being, and a specific meaning. Okay, I added the fourth element, the state of being, though it seems to be something natural, but I think we really underestimate it, because it's no less than the origin of the coordinate system. And this is something that makes our life a piece of cake, because we have just bound something that can be easily determined with the help of geometry, or even with the help of graph theory that will be more useful here, and something that seems to be so subjective, so undetermined, and even so scary that not actually anyone is eager to work with it. I'm talking here about the human inner world and the things that clients and therapists are doing during their sessions. And it all happens thanks to a structure of particle, a structure of structures, a gestalt. But I'm not stopping here. Yep. Physics has been looking for the smallest thing in the world, a particle. It was supposed to be atoms at first, then electrons, protons, and neutrons. After some quarks appeared, something small that can be divided. I thought, even if we find a new one, what are we going to do with this tiny little thing and tons of new information about it? Of course, if we can do anything. Okay, this question really doesn't matter. The thing that matters to me now is the next. Isn't it already enough that we know the main ideas of how these tiny things are being? Something simple, yet bringing a meaning. So I need to add some points to make a gestalt work this particular how way. Well, actually, we have already seen all of them. But let's say we need another angle, the quantum mechanics angle, okay? Let's start. First, quantized, but not continuous. It's about any energy moving not as smoothly as we're used to seeing in our big world. It will be something like this. Okay, okay. I hope you understand what I mean discreetly. The second, wave-particle duality. It's about a particle being both um, a particle, let's say point, and don't judge me, okay? And a wave. There is a double slit experiment, a classic to demonstrate it. And let me tell you in a nutshell about it, okay? So there are two slits like this for a particle to go through and a screen behind the slits like this for a particle to be detected. Sending one particle after another through the slits will result not in two cloud line of probabilities to bump into the screen, but in an interference pattern. Well, you can imagine it as 5 or even more cloud line of probabilities to bump into this screen. So it's about a particle being as a wave. And well, better see it with your own eyes, okay? The third, the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. And well, this one is really cool. The more we know about the location of our particle, the less we know about its momentum, let's say moving, and vice versa. So the location of our particle is like a cloud of probabilities to be somewhere. And these 3 points I just mentioned make our particle be in Gestalt act duality. So being a wave is being a Gestalt, a closed one, while being found, let's say, being detected while going through one slit or another, or on the screen, is about being an open Gestalt, or a figure plus act. The more we know about the Gestalt, the less we know about the next act. And the more we know about the exact act, the more we lose our sensation of the whole picture. So it's an endless sequence of the state of acting and the state of being. Cool, isn't it? And last, the fourth one, theory. To be honest with you, I'm not really ready to talk about the theory in physics terms. So let me leave some sources here that really helped me to link the next things and to understand them deeper and better. Okay? So our particle as a vibration of a string is a better explanation of a gestalt. And I really like its characteristics. A string can be an open one and a closed, and the first one can become the second one, like our gestalts. And a string can be divided into strings, but they are still strings, like a gestalt can be divided into gestalts, still gestalts. And the vibration as protective communicative way in human behavior, but well, I think here I'm going too far with assuming. Last, I'm taking with me the idea of 11 dimensions. And well, let me finish here. Gestalt is a structural particle that can describe anything and can be described with the help of four components. Being a figure against the background with its specific meaning. We can play with the Gestalt in three different ways. First, we can identify its components, aka form a Gestalt. Second, we can turn its components into gestalts, full of gestalts and acts. And third, we can make it become a part of another gestalt. There are two possible ways to see a gestalt in anything: the objective and the subjective. The objective way is about a thing being a whole, complete gestalt, and the subjective way is about a thing being a part of a structure you're a part of too. It's always about a mixture of these two ways. You can't be 100% this or that bank of the river while being a river itself. And from that perspective, and with these tools, let's dive into the anything. Once I read it, I really liked the idea. A line is a track made by a moving point. And actually, it describes everything I want to say in this video, but let's disclose this phrase now. Imagine there is an endless dimension of anything. Nothing and everything being at the same time with every probability to be. I don't know how it looks like or what's its content. Is it information? Maybe. Is it points? Precisely or not. But I don't need to know exactly. Because sometimes, in order to be needed, you just need to be. Paradoxical, isn't it? I think that's how enough is working, or a 0 point in any coordinate system. Am I too philosophical? So, the anything is in the state of just being. Okay? Let's say it again. An endless dimension with lots of points that are having every probability to be or not to be. That is the question. But I'm gonna make it a little bit easier for us with help of schemas I prepared. Here it is, the anything. The whole some kind of rose plane. Just thought I didn't want it to be white. But that means only that my tastes are very specific. There could be different points to be. It could be A, B, or C point. Or it can go this way or that way with a precise possibility. Though I'm actually not sure it can go. It's more likely all the points of the figures are being at the same probability to be. Okay? Well, imagine there is a possibility of some points to be at the same probability to be that forms a circle like this. If you're thinking here that this looks like a gestalt, the only thing I can add then is that it's a perfect undetermined gestalt. Actually, all the points and all the figures we've seen before are gestalts. Well, better say figures against the anything as the background. But this case I love the most, the circle one. As far as I can imagine it, being a circle in one dimension is something about being both a point or a line, an object of the dimension going this particular way, and a possible to be a two-dimensional subject. This circle can be any combination of any points, just like here. It can be both an open string from the perspective of the anything dimension and a possible closed string from its own perspective. Thanks to the fact that it can be any combination of anything points. Okay, there is a possibility to have another dimension in the first dimension. I call it I to I dimension. The first dimension, a possible dimension to be, the dimension of choice making. Imagine there is a possibility that the anything dimension goes from A to B by the upper way, and the possible I to I dimension goes by the lower way, or just the possible string, whichever you like. And they meet at B point, but with the possibility that B point in the anything is everything, and B point in I to I is nothing, or they're just opposite to each other. Boom! I got a 0 point and two possible dimensions. Why two? From the perspective of the eye to eye, you're having two ants now, and that's not the only reason. By the way, each point of our circle can be a boom point. It's cool to be everything, nothing, and anything, isn't it? The second reason, I can do the same experiment at the same time. Well, there is no time there, but I hope you understand what I mean. Going from B to A will lead to the second boom. Yeah, I like the booms. Maybe because of my childhood traumas, who knows? Just kidding. Okay, let's see what we've got here. There are two possible open strings. Actually, endless possible pairs of open strings. But I need just two of them. Okay, 8. They are all the possible results of our boom experiments. By now, I can say that there is no difference between I to you and I to we. Well, they're just like the anything, but the I to I part of the anything. I should stop messing with you. Yep. To make it easy, I to you and I to we have the same function. Okay. And you know what I'm going to do here? Yeah, I'm going to blow everything again. Let's peep through a hole into I to u plus I to v dimensions. Here we go. The I to I dimension is cut by some boom point that results in another dimension, I to v or I to u. Sorry, but here I'm making it complicated. You see, I've drawn it this way and it looks too beautiful to redraw. Well, you can imagine that in I to U or I to V, there is a line instead of these gorgeous waves. The waves are more about to be in the world of I to U and I to V combination. It could be this way or that way. Or just two lines, two boring lines, meeting together in your head. The result will be the same. Boom! Since we're here, let me show you something really beautiful. Imagine, and that is to be true soon enough, that I to I is not just a possible dimension, but a proper one. And so that is how an interaction between two strings will look like. The first variant, the line here, is what we have before I to I coming into force. And the second variant, really adorable. Here you can see lots of booms and new possibilities for I to U plus I to V to be. But back to our four circles. What we've got here, 8 new dimensions, sir. So how can I be in 8? How can the anything be organized into 11? And that's what we've got now. I'm giving I the credit. It did a great job. 4 dimensions for the matter space, well, we're aware of them. But I'm against calling the fourth dimension time. It's about choice making with the help of the matter. So I just label it movement. I ran out of fantasy here. 3 left. Cause of my observation of my inner parts performances in the matter space. I mean, the way they behave in a protective or communicative way, the way they behave step by step in an order, in a specific order, the way they interact with each other, being a part of each other gestalt, I mean being a background or a figure for each other, and the way they react to, well, my choice makings, still revealing themselves, the same structures, I mean. And because of that, I thought they're more likely to be represented as as clouds of waves of possibilities to be. Yeah. And for that, we need at least two-dimensional world and plus one for the act for choice making. So I made the soul dimensions be similar to the matter space. Well, why not? Let's try this model. What if it works? Okay, I have another schema I love more. This tree is gorgeous. And time for some comments. First, about a possibility. That doesn't mean that it's the only possible way to organize the anything into 11. It's just my point of view based on my observations. Second, about a soul. The model requires a thing to be between the matter space and the anything to determine the clouds of waves of possibilities to be coming out of one point of the anything. So why don't we call this a soul, okay? Also, the model stays icentric for each point in the anything. Each soul in the soul dimensions and each particle or gestalt of particles in the matter space. And the third comment about time. Thanks to the theory of relativity, psychology, and icentric model, I determine time as 5 different dimensions, 3 of which are about an act, choice making, for a gestalt. Well, I can also say that I to we and I to you are about time, but I prefer them being for communication purpose. Okay, and now time for some outcomes. Would you like to think of the Schrodinger's cat as the eccentric characteristic of the model? When each of us has his own coordinate system, so does the cat. And for the cat, her existence is determined, while for us, it's a forming gestalt. Well, that's an easy example. How about this? Every particle in our world has a cloud of possibilities to be connected with other dimensions. In other words, every particle in the matter space has an act of a gestalt, I mean a point in the anything, running through I to we plus I to u combination, and while running, being a figure against this two-dimensional combination as a background that results in a gestalt in the matter space thanks to wave particle duality. Hence, our universe at the Big Bang moment was an act of a figure from the inner space as a background, a random combination of boom experiments we've observed. But is our universe really extending? Or it's just about a gestalt of matter space particle or particles getting more possibilities in the soul dimensions? I wanna make your head blow. Well, I guess I was lying when I said that I am not sadist. You see, I think this big schema is a serious simplification, really, because every point in the inner space can go either to the matter space or to another point in the inner space. Remember, I to u or I to we has the same function. So the soul is not just a cloud tree. It's a really big net of points with different probabilities to be. That includes the acts as choice makings, being both a background and a figure. Remember, I said that I didn't know what was the anything? So this whole part, I was working only with the structural particle. And this is only the beginning.